All right, we are live. Hi, guys. This is Chris Mincola with the Mincola Group over at West USA Realty. And today we got a special guest. We've got the guru of credit himself, Sam Parker over at My Credit Guy. Easy to remember, My Credit Guy, right?
Yeah, we tried
Uh,
to make it like that. Thanks for having me, Chris. I really appreciate it.
hey, no problem. We love having you, and you do a great job for our clients. So we're really looking forward to this. Sam works a lot with our loan officer, Evan Einhorn, over at Modern Home Lending. And he does a great job for some, when people need just some basic stuff, Evan can get them through it. But when they need, some heavy duty ninja tricks to get through the credit stuff and the hacks to get through that credit stuff, Sam comes into play and he does a fantastic job. And, Sam, tell us a little bit about, your company and what you guys do.
Yeah. Just a little bit of background. Not something that we've fallen into recently. I've been doing credit restoration since I was 19 years old. I'm 35 now, so it was the first thing that I kind of professionally found my way into. And then one thing I noticed right away was that there was a serious need for what I was trying to provide, but that a lot of the people in the industry were in it more so for themselves, and they weren't really concerned with getting clients back to a closing table or their end goal. So what my wife and I actually did, because she joined me a couple years into my career, was now with My Credit Guy, what we've done is created a credit restoration firm that flows side by side with the home buying process. Because what a lot of companies want to do is they want to come out to lenders and realtors and home buyers and go, we're the best at what we do. We're great at credit repair. But in reality, they're not getting them loan ready, and they don't even know what it would take to get them loan ready. They just want the business, and it sounds great to say, hey, if you want your credit boosted up, come see me. But there's definitely a way to do it, both in terms of business practices and end results, that actually make sure the client gets what they're looking for.
Yeah. So we deal with that a lot where in the past, with different companies and places where people get strung along for a while and like you were saying earlier, and rather than just getting them where they need to be sooner rather than later and stringing it out. So what exactly should people know kind of going into this as far as, some tips, I guess, to start with?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, what does a good credit repair company look like? Okay. And then I'll get into some daily things that everybody can use to keep their credit in great shape. So, first of all, and some of what I'm saying, it sounds like I'm promoting myself. I believe that we do things the right way. I really do. And so some of these things I'm going to say, some people might be like, you're just saying that because you do it that way. But I do it for a reason, and I'll explain. So first of all, credit repair companies can't charge upfront fees. It's against federal law to do so. But almost every credit repair company out there, while they say they don't charge up front, they're going to find a way to do so, meaning an enrollment fee, a filing fee, an interview fee, something like that. It's all just semantics, and it's all just a way that they can charge a client before they've actually performed any true credit repair services. So what we do is we think from the client's perspective, when do I feel like I'm getting what I paid for? And that's usually about 30 days down the road when results start coming in, right? And so that's when we charge. We don't charge until the 30th day of service, not a penny, until day 30, when now not all results will be in by then, but they're starting to come in. That work's being done, right?
Right.
And so there's that. There's the companies that promise just ridiculous things. If it sounds too good to be true in credit repair, it is. So for instance, I will sit there and I will tell a client, we are not whiteout. I am not going to get every single negative item deleted from your credit report. I am going to help you get home loan ready if that's what you actually want. Now, the clients that want to, there's certain companies out there, like network marketing has gotten into credit repair, which is just not good for the industry, in my opinion, because you have a lot of people that aren't educated about credit running around positioning themselves as credit experts so that they can sign their family and friends up into their organization, you might call it. So like, for instance, you got misinformation going on out there. Like, if you had a debt and it got sold to a collection company, you no longer legally owe it, and you can get out of all that. And so to clients, it just really muddies the waters. And it's of course what you want to hear, but it's not the way it works legally, right? Like if you owe a debt and it's sold, you still owe that debt. The obligation has been sold and you're still obligated to pay it, right? So if a company is telling you, listen, 30 days later, we're going to wipe your credit report clean, it's either lies or it's smoke and mirrors that are going to come back to bite you right before you close. You know, when that credit report is updated and those items are popping back on the credit report because they were removed in some sort of tricky or fraudulent way, you got to watch for that too. So companies that are charging you up front, companies that are promising the world, because you know what we do is we facilitate, you know, we help, we coach, meaning you do have some work to do. You're going to have to set funds aside to pay off your bills that get validated. You're going to have to open up a credit card sometimes. Sometimes you're going to have to pay one down. And then in the background, we do our thing. And all of those actions together get the team back to the closing table. But it's definitely not, you know, hire us, do nothing, sit back, and then boom, you make $1 million. You know, it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and from our standpoint, because I look at real estate, you know, as not only, you know, number one, you know, there's a lot of benefits to owning real estate, right? You just have options, and it's same thing with credit. If your credit is better, you just have options. You save money. You can actually, in a way, by being able to purchase a home, for instance, or real estate, for instance, you know, make more money or build long-term wealth. By or at least start to do that by having that credit. So it makes a lot of sense to me when you stop and think about it from a whole approach, like you're talking about. And the same thing is with what you do. It's a whole approach, not just one thing or this thing, or, you know, let's do this and cut any corners while we're going along doing it.
Yeah, you're right. You know, it's not just about qualifying for the home loan or buying the house right now. It's that opportunity cost. Like, for instance, there's a group of, and I won't name names here, so he'll know who I'm talking about.
I know who you mean. I hear him all the time.
Well, no, so I'm not even just talking about any financial gurus that tell you not to have credit, but just an example. I have 4 buddies, okay, that an opportunity came up to snatch up an investment property that we could flip and sell, and we were all going to make a really great profit on it. The problem was that one of the 4 of us didn't have the financials or the credit to play, and unfortunately, that meant that him and his family missed out on tens of thousands of dollars. Where it was all we had to be was the right place, the right time, sign on the dotted line. All of us had 50 plus credit scores, and the bank said, oh my God, yes, we'd love to give you money. Where the clients that we're dealing with, they're just living a life that they don't have to live long term, which is walking into the bank, your head held down, saying, can I please have something? Instead of walking in held high and going, who's going to give me the best deal because I deserve it? You know, it's just a different life you live with good credit or bad credit.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So what can they expect as far as costs? Because I look at this as there's a cost, but there's a cost to anything for that long-term wealth or long-term benefit, right? If I want to lose weight, get in shape, I got to go to the gym, right?
There's a give and a take everywhere. So let me fill in a few of the blanks really quick. So when a client starts with us, we do a detailed interview. We figure out what they disagree with and why, and then we go after those items rather than saying not mine or never late like most of the credit repair companies do. We're going to go after violations of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. That way we get really great results in that first and second round. Now, if any debt is validated, rather than just going after it again and again and again, then we're going to help the clients out with settlements and pay for deletions, where we can actually help negotiate debts down and save our clients hundreds or thousands of dollars in that part of the process. Then we'll help them add new positive trade lines or teach them how to use the ones that they already have. So that way we're coming at the credit from all different angles, right? Now, if a client is sent to us, I will tell you that about 40% of the files that we look at do not need credit repair help. They're on one end of the spectrum or the other. Either they just need a few pieces of advice, like pay this down, open this up, and I don't charge a dime for doing a review, okay? So I'll look at that file and I'll go, you don't need my help. Just do this, go back to Chris, go back to your lender, Evan, and have credit pulled, and congratulations, Or if they're on the bar side of things where I'm like, listen, you owe $80,000, you make $30,000. When is this ever going to change? And they say never. And I say, then there's bankruptcy laws in place for a reason, because that means that you can be into a home in as little as 2 years, or trying to dig out of this hole for you looks like a lifetime, right? So we'll help you realize what's actually going to be best. And what we do is always, how fast can we get you to the closing table? And sometimes, like with a bankruptcy, that is 2 years, but that's still faster than trying to nickel and dime your way out of something that can't be nickel and dimed out of, right?
Right.
So we'll do all that for them. They're going to be assigned to one dedicated credit coach that really handholds them the whole way through the process also. So that way we make sure questions are answered, action is taken, and that we're getting this done. Most clients only need 2 to 4 months with us too. So that means back to where I was. 40% of the clients, we're just going to give free advice, send them on their way. The other section of clients, 60%, they're going to have several different options depending on their credit and their budget. Meaning, if they only have one negative item, we charge $125 due on day 30. Remember, no payments with us are ever due until day 30, because then we're compliant and we're giving the client time to set funds aside. So one negative item, $125 due on day 30. 2 to 3 negative items, only $199 due on day 30. If you have 4 or more negative items, okay, and don't try to sit there and go, well, I have 8 negative items, because you might be looking at something that doesn't matter. Like a late pay over 24 months old, 2 years old, has no negative impact on your credit anymore. So you might be looking at your credit report like, oh my God, I have so many negatives. No, you don't. You really only have one collection account. You have 7 accounts that had late pays, but past 2 years ago, you only have one negative item, right? And so let us get a look at that credit report if you're seeing this, okay? But if you only have one, 125, 2 to 3, like I said, 199, 4 or more negative items, then our standard pricing is $399 for an individual or $699 for a couple due on day 30. And then it would drop all the way down to only $89 per month for an individual for any ongoing service after that per month, or $109 for a couple. So it's only a $20 add-on per couple. It's really a good idea to get your entire financial house in order, because there's discounts cooked in to try to, let couples take advantage of this service. Okay. Now, if that's too much, maybe your purchase price is only $150,000. You're getting, down payment assistance. You're a first-time home buyer, whatever, and that's too much. We'll split it up for you. So instead of $399 and then $89s, we'll do $244 day 30, $244 day 60, and then drop down to $89 for an individual, or $404 day 30, $404 day 60, and then drop down to $109 for a couple. If you do the math on any of these, what you'll find, I'm not charging you anything extra to space it out. I just want to make it accessible to you, because this is your path to home ownership. Okay. The third and final choice is our budget pricing. And this is the only time that we ask clients to commit to any certain number of payments with us. And that's 4 months at $160 for an individual starting on day 30, or 4 months at $250 for a couple starting on day 30. If you needed service beyond that, it would drop down to the regular $89s or $109s per month. But most clients really need only 2 to 4 months with us anyway. So it's going to be rare that a client would be with us for 5-6 months. But if so, then you still get that discounted pricing. So we really just try to bend and be super flexible so that we fit into any budget, because we know that if you work with us and you do what we tell you to do, you will eventually get qualified for a home loan. There's really not a whole lot of doubt about it, as long as you're following along.
Yeah. So that's the end goal. So I like how you broke that down. The 40. So guys, first of all, you talk to Evan. He'll give you some free credit counseling. Then, if we need to go further with Sam, he's going to give you some upfront free credit counseling. So you say 40% are, here's the free advice, be on your way. So there's a huge percentage right there. You're going to learn something. There's the thing we get a lot, Sam, is this: I want to try and do it on my own. I'm tracking the bureaus, or I'm going to do it later or whatever. And to me, if you can wipe that off your record, obviously, like we already said, it's going to save and make you money in the long run by doing this. So all of this doesn't mean, that doesn't really amount to anything unless they move forward with it. So what would you say, like them doing it on their own, which either ends up nowhere, or years down the road when, 10 years down the road, if everything let's say for argument's sake, were to drop off, what would you say would be your time frame? That you said 2 to 4 months compared to what with other places? Because I know it's much longer with
Yeah,
other.
usually 6 to 12 months minimum.
Yeah.
A lot of other places, they might quote you. Like, I'm not saying they won't get on the phone with you today and say, no, we can get it done in 2 to 3 months. But then just watch what happens, because they might jack your scores up in that time frame. But as the negative items come back on the report because they use blanket disputing tactics, or they might leave dispute verbiage all over the credit report and the lender can't close with it anyway. There's just a difference between getting some items removed and getting somebody loan ready. The other thing to keep in mind is, if you knew how to have great credit, and I'm not saying this to be smug, but you would have great credit. You don't know the ins and outs. And I'll give, you know, if you're watching this, I'll give you an out. You were never taught this in college. You were never taught this in high school. And most likely your parents just told you pay your bills on time. So it's okay that you're in this position. It's just not okay to stay there, okay? And if you think about the trade-off, okay, so a client with my service that needs the full time, okay, they are going to pay me $577 over the course of 90 or so days. Over 70% of our clients save more money through the deletions and the settlements that we get them than they even spend on the service. So it's immediately profitable. Then let's keep the end goal in mind here, okay? This isn't something, we're not dealing with people that just want to have better credit. Remember why you're here. You're in an apartment right now. You're renting and paying somebody else's mortgage right now. And what we're trying to do is get you home ownership. How much are you trying to borrow? Minimum of 150, probably in the valley, more like 250, 300. And we're asking you just to invest $577 in yourself to get that $300,000. It's a really, really great trade-off. And the point is, do you have time to wait? Do you have time to experiment with the largest purchase that you're ever going to make and where your family is going to lay their heads before the next school year? Do you have time to roll the dice and hope that what you do works and that you might have a time to do it again? Probably not. Probably get going on this.
And for the general home buyer, for a few $100 to get this cleared up, if it needs to go that far, within 2 to 4 months or so, let's say, you know, I mean, you know, from year to year, historically speaking, in real estate, buying a home, you know, you're looking at, you know, right around normally a 4 to 5% per year equity gain.
Right.
You know, plus your rent isn't going up. You know, your rent isn't going. So already, you know, you've way more than made that money up from that standpoint, and you live in your house.
Yeah, you just live in a piggy bank. You literally live in a piggy bank that you get to cash out when you want to down the road, or you pay for somebody else's. You know, it's just, it really is that simple. And I think that a lot of clients forget about the end goal. They just look at it and they go, credit, I'm embarrassed about it, I can do it myself. Kind of like so many of us are like, I don't need to hire a trainer. I know how to use a treadmill. I know how to eat good. There's just more to it than that. Otherwise, we'd all be just super jacked and fit, and it's just harder than you think it is. Sometimes you need somebody helping you do the things that you know how to do already. Sometimes it's as simple as that. But most clients have no idea how credit works. Like, for instance, Chris, let's talk about the client that says, I'm going to go do it on my own. Well, what's the first thing they're going to do? I know how to pay my collections on my own, right? You go and you pay a collection off. Here's what happens. What you do is you update what's called the date of last activity on a negative account, a collection account. There's a MOP rating. It's kind of a secret rating system in credit that only the banks have access to, really. Like a consumer report doesn't even have it on there. But it's this rating system that goes 0 through 9, 9 being the worst it can possibly be. A 9 or a collection account is tagged with that 9 MOP. Once a collection or once a debt goes to a collection status, the dollar amount doesn't matter anymore. So when you pay it off from, let's say, $1,000 DirecTV collection, and you pay it off, you get no reward points, you get no benefit from paying it from 1,000 to 0. That doesn't matter. What happened was you update the date of last activity from maybe 3 years ago when that account went negative to today's date, and that negative rating follows it. You just paid $1,000 and you dropped your credit scores 20 or 30 points.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
the credit scoring algorithm is just littered with stuff like that. You have too many credit cards in your wallet. Dave Ramsey tells you to go close them all out. They're the devil. You close them all out. You eliminate all your pay history. You eliminate all your balance to limit ratio on your revolving account, and your scores probably drop 100 points.
Right.
So it's just not a simple system. It should be, and it's not. And that's why a lot of people just need my credit guy to walk you through it.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got my trainer on here watching right now. His name's Steve. Thanks for joining us, Steve. I need him to get me going in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. I need that help. Just like people need help. And it's absolutely right. What you said is the people don't want to talk. The last thing we want to talk about is how much money we're not making, or how much debt we're in, or how bad our credit is with anybody.
Right.
But that's what you're there for, and that's what you guys do all day long. And in the end, it's going to make such a difference in what you're paying out, what you're saving in your home, and everything in your equity. It's just amazing how you can build wealth over just a few years with some real estate. It's amazing.
You really can. And really, at the end of the day, and I'm a straight shooter. Just so everybody knows, my staff is much more caring. I shouldn't say caring. Hand holding than I am. Okay, but I'm very straightforward. And so, like, what I say is just humble yourself and ask for help. That's what you got to do in a situation where it's this important, is just admit that you don't know what you don't know. Or let's say you're too busy for it. You're so busy at your job, you just wouldn't have the time for it. Because if done properly, for every negative item on the credit report, what should happen is individual correspondence to Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and the original creditor. 4 different sets of correspondence should go out. That means 4 different sets of correspondence are going to be coming back to you per item. So let's say you have 10 items. You don't have 10 items. You have 40 sets of correspondence in and out, and you need to decipher what happens. And then round 2, what are you going to do for round 2? Because you got 40 different letters to read and decide what to, it's a lot more complicated than you think it is in a lot of situations.
Yeah, and nobody's going to deal with all that. Nobody. Right. That's a full-time job. That's what you're for.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Anything else you want to share with us, Sam? I think that gives us a good idea of how to get started. What do they do next? Just contact.
Yeah, so you can get a hold of us. mycreditguy.com is our website. Our local number, and we're just down here in Gilbert, is 480-999-2550, and just let us know that either Chris or Evan sent you over. If you're watching this Facebook Live, we're going to give you 10% off if you do need our services, just to make sure that you know that you're appreciated by Chris, Evan, and My Credit Guy.
Awesome, guys. All right. Well, you can always reach us at 480-788-8569. Remember, April 6th, you're invited to, Sam. We're going to have a client appreciation party over at Westgate Dave & Buster's, and that's going to be from, what is that, 12 to 2, I think. Yeah. No, 11:30 to 1:30. Sorry. 11:30 to 1:30, April 6th. That's a Saturday, at the Westgate Dave & Buster's. And then April 12th, you're also invited to this too, Sam, if you can make it. We're going to be doing a wealth building event and buyer-seller seminar on how to, even if you're a first-time home buyer or investor, want to get started in real estate, want to know how to buy and sell real estate, how to get started, Evan and I are going to be hosting that at our West USA corporate office up at the I-17 and the 101. So we'll be sending out details to the whole database here and on social media. But anyways, thanks for joining us, Sam. Thanks for joining us, guys. Great information here. Please share this with your friends. It'll help everybody in some way, shape, or form to at least reach out if they have any credit issues to Sam. He'll get them started the right way. So Absolutely. Thanks for joining. Thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.